what's up? It's your guy Dawson from D&D TV. I'm joined by Miss D from Blog Talk Radio from D&D TV. I wanted to talk real quick about the Darren Sharper investigation. Basically, Miss D, to add this in a nutshell, people are, pinning him as a serial rapist because there are so many women who are coming out saying that they met Mr. Sharper in a club, went back to hotel rooms with him, received some drinks, they blacked out, and the next thing they know, they woke up to feeling sexually assaulted, or later going home feeling that something happened to them. And you're talking about almost, I think it's 9 or 11 women in 5 states. Those states including California, Nevada, New Orleans, Florida, and even Arizona. And there were some teammates who remained anonymous who were saying, we love Darren, but this is going way out of control, because if you have one woman in one state saying something, then everybody will see how it plays out in court. But you're talking about all of these women in 5 different states saying the same thing, and basically he lost his job today at the NFL Network. Miss D, what do you think about this?
It's a sad situation all the way around. It's a sad situation for, if he's guilty, why is he doing this, and why did he seek help? I'm pretty sure that he can find willing women. But I guess what I want to point to is this. Because 9 times out of 10, the public is going to want to vilify the women that are accusing them. And that's the one thing about women. When women step up and say that they have been sexually assaulted by a powerful or a wealthy or a well-known person, her testimony is automatically discounted. Everyone assumes, you're a groupie. Why were you going up to the hotel room? You must have been going up there for sex. Even if they were going up there for sex, they were going up there for willing sex, not let me drink something, I get knocked out, I wake up the next day, I have no memory of what happened.
You're absolutely right. Darren retired from the NFL in 2010. He played in the NFL for 14 seasons. I mean, you're talking about a guy with a lot of accomplishments. And, when people heard about this story initially, they were like, no, not him. You're talking about a guy who's on, as a commentator on the NFL Network, well presented, articulate, as people were saying in some of the comments, just looked like the perfect all around, American citizen, to have these kind of demons that are hidden inside of him. A lot of people, even some of his former coaches, were saying they're just shocked. They have no comment. They're shocked. And some teammates, as I stated before, they were kind of taking up for him, not really taking up for him, but saying, let's see how this plays out in court. Let's see what happens. And then you have one teammate who said something, a former teammate, who basically said, sexual addiction is one thing, but when you're dubbed as a serial rapist, that's taking it to a whole nother level. And I think that's what we're seeing in the pattern, where you have all these different women in 5 states who are basically saying the exact same thing. I mean, you have a woman here in Miami saying something. You got women in California, and in New Orleans, where, this case eventually started, who are saying the same thing within the duration of 5 months. So this is something serious. This is just not somebody who has a sexual addiction. This is someone who is basically a serial rapist. And the fact that you admitted, Ms. D, that you stated rather that drugs were involved to drug these women, and then when they're waking up, they're feeling assaulted. And one of the women, did have Mr. Darren's DNA on their person when they went to the hospital to get examined. So this is just a horrible thing, to go through. But I mean, definitely, I don't know, Ms. D. It's just real sad, because the NFL, the NBA, you see these guys with all this money, all this talent, even the former players, and you would think, like you stated, to have all this money, to have all this talent, and even if those who retire or leave the leagues, they still have a couple $1 million left to do something good, to invest that into something positive, and then to rape women. I mean, you have women who probably would just have been with you for any reason, but when it's a sexual disorder, it's not the fact that women would not be with him. It's just that he really gets off on drugging these women and doing this horrible act to them.
Possibly, if he's guilty. The other thing that I want to point out, I want to look at it from the other side. One thing that I would caution women against is, see, I think a lot of women, when they see someone who is a celebrity, someone that's well-known, popular, wealthy, what have you, you assume that that person will not do anything to you because of who they are.
Exactly.
And that is a faulty assumption. And women need to understand that just because you know someone
on television
as a celebrity, yes, on television, doesn't mean you know them. Would you go off with that person if you didn't know them?
Exactly.
From the celebrity power?
Yeah.
Would you just go off with just any person that you met and go off to that hotel room and jump in your car? Okay, by yourself? I'm willing to bet that a lot of women probably wouldn't do that.
A lot of women would.
If they do,
yeah, Miss D, a lot of women would.
Friend.
A lot of women would do that, Miss D, but let's look at this. You do have these groupie women who are in these clubs where they know the athletes are going to be there. You have some of them who are waiting in the hotel lobbies. I mean, you've had some players' wives even, state that information as well. That the groupies are always there. So some of the players who are married, you have their wives who travel with them. But even if the wives are going, we still know players who are married who've had extramarital affairs. I mean, come on. I mean, let's be real. But the thing is, you have these women who are there and they are doing anything to be a baller's girlfriend, a baller's wife. And the society now, television kind of like really prompts women with this whole basketball wives. I got this. My boyfriend plays for the NBA. He plays for this NFL. You have women who want that spotlight because for them, that's their only chance at basically making it. So they want to be next to a baller or anybody else. But like to what you were saying, you don't know these people. You don't know that he may be abusive, that he may be a serial rapist, that he may have a sexually transmitted disease, because we've heard players who've transmitted sexually transmitted diseases to other people in the media. You don't know this, but the whole thirstiness is just basically to get with a baller. That's what we see in the media today.
That is what you see. But like I said, you're going with someone because of their celebrity, but you don't know that person. You just know what you see portrayed to you on TV. You don't know what type of issues they have, okay? And the only thing I would say is, really you need to evaluate who you're running off with.
Yeah,
Once you go with that person.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Well, if he's convicted in California, he could face 30 years in prison. If convicted in New Orleans, he could face life in prison. And basically, I looked at his net worth. It says that his net worth is around about $8 or $9 million, and with lawyer fees and all this stuff. Because I mean, this case is underway, and you can't blame NFL Network for dropping him. They're looking out for their brand as well. The network, and basically they don't want to set somebody with these allegations on a platform to speak to children and other people in society. So it's a real sad issue. I hope justice is served, but it just goes. I mean, you can't look for role models or anything in sports figures and athletes or singers. You gotta basically be a role model for your own kids. That's what it is.
Exactly.
That's what it is. So until next time, thank you for joining me, Miss D. I'm your guy, Dawson. Thank you all for listening. Peace.